Hello and welcome, you guys. So I'm not gonna face the camera in this particular video just because it's a really awkward angle, but I just really wanted to talk about this flower here. This is Tigridia pavonia. It's in the Iridaceae family, or the iris family. It's known as the peacock flower. It's also known as the Mexican tiger flower, the three-lobed gladiolus, and it has many other different names. And it's just really beautiful. It has this really striking internal pattern. It only blooms for one day. Now these here are quite hard to come by flowers in my experience. They're not incredibly readily available at most nurseries from what I've seen, and they have such an incredibly short bloom time that you really have to catch them while they're in bloom. They only bloom for one individual day of the year, and they produce on average one, sometimes two bloom stalks, and each bloom stalk will have one, sometimes two blooms. They're very, very aromatic, extremely aromatic, almost kind of vanilla in scent. They come in this shade here, they come in pink, they come in orange, they come in almost purple, pure white, yellow, just a whole array of colors. There's even a bluish one. They have three really striking petals. Inside they have three like petioles, just tiny little petals, and they have this really interesting base of the receptacle here. They have three stamens, each with their own anther, and then they have one pistil which is divided in 5 to 7 lobes. So I just think that's a really unique feature of this plant. I think it almost looks like a fun house or something in there. It's just really quite cool. So it's commonly pollinated by moths, as well as some mason bees, other types of bees, and ants as well. You need multiple flowers to be able to get seed, but the flowers don't often come true from seed. Seed germinates in about a month or so, so you gotta be patient. Now they have this really interesting opposite fashion with these really nice long leaf blades to them. I think it really closely resembles gladiolus. And another thing is they trail. So I don't know if you can see, this is all just one single plant, and they trail on these tiny little runners on the ground. They're born in tiny little corms, which are essentially scaleless bulbs, or like a swelling of the lowermost basal part of the stem. That's the reproductive, regenerative underground organ. And yeah, so they are perennial, but in areas that get a little bit of a harder hit in the winter, they'll only live for a couple of years, and you kind of have to lift them up and store them that way. They do naturally form slight groves and flushes and clumps. They bloom all summer long, but each plant is incredibly sparing with its bloom. It'll only bloom for about one day. If you're really lucky, you'll get a couple of blooms on one plant. So now, just to describe what it smells like vanilla with like a little bit of coconut and almost like shea butter. It's just a really beautiful scent. And I highly recommend that you guys grow this plant. It's really quite graceful. It's a wonderful addition to the garden, and it degenerates incredibly quickly. I don't know if you can see, but it's already starting to fade away, so it's not suitable really for a cut flower. This over here is this really interesting outer pattern. It looks almost painted. I do not recommend pinching them. I don't recommend fertilizing them too often, as you get a little bit of leaf burn, and try to keep them in temperatures of about 20 to 25 degrees Celsius in the summer. Don't let them get too cold, and just enjoy them in the garden. So yeah, that is Tigridia pavonia. I highly recommend this plant, you guys. It's incredibly strikingly beautiful. It's very short-lived, but it's just a really nice, not very well-known addition to the garden. It's native to Oaxaca and Guerrero and parts of southern Mexico. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to talk about. I don't know if you guys can see these lilies here, but isn't that beautiful? It's a beautiful day in the garden. Stay safe out there, folks. Have a good day.